Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, what were you showing me?
That's Steve Kennedy in his Halloween costume. They won Best Group Costume in downtown Auburn.
Very nice. What is he? I can't tell.
I asked if he was Moses, and I think he was slightly offended. He said he was Hagrid from Harry Potter.
Okay.
Here's another photo. You can go to his Facebook and Instagram profiles and see all these. These are some candid shots.
Oh, very nice.
And then he had his boy already lifting the hardware in the Kennedy family for having the best group costume in downtown Auburn.
That's impressive. All right, a very good show today. We're going to have Scott Rook on, and then we're going to have a gentleman who has been catching some very large fish, Mr.
Yeah, he's also been around.
Matt Reed.
He's just completed his second year on the FLW Tour. Remember 2017 when he made the move over there? He had back-to-back top 5 finishes.
Yeah.
And a dead nuts middle of the road last year, Matt Reed. But a long-time Elite Series Pro too, a Nitro guy, Bass Pro Shops guy. But planning on fishing the FLW Tour next year. But also, I follow him on social media, and he legit catches like 3 10-pounders a week. So we got some pictures, so we're going to ask him about that. And also just kind of want to get his take on how everything's going down. Some of his, not cohorts, what are those? Not compadres. What is it when it's like your equal, like on the
Counterparts?
Tour? I guess, counterparts on the FLW Tour. Shane LaHue just announced that he's going back over to the Elite Series next year.
Yeah.
Clint Davis, obviously, is going over to the Elite Series. So things are starting to take shape over there. A bunch of the Open guys have announced that they're going to the Elite Series. Harvey Horn, guys like that.
Yeah. All right, real quick, a couple of housekeeping items. For those people that are watching live, the company that we have used for, good grief, Matthew, how many years? Probably
7,
8 years. That supports our instant feedback, they are eliminating that division of that company. So
are they going to start their own?
Know.
The employees are going to go start another one?
I don't know. So I am testing today some new instant feedback software from another company. So we'll see how this works. Obviously, I'm doing the free version first before I pay for it. So if there's some strange advertisement that pops up in the window or something like that, that would be the reason, because it is their free sampling product, which is kind of cool. You test it before you buy it.
Very cool. I'm trying to pull up the Bass Talk Live so I can read the comments on your manifesto, which was received with mixed reviews. Guys, if you didn't listen to the show on Tuesday, Brad Hallman was in studio. Mark Jeffries proposed a hypothetical.
Just a fantasy land.
It's to generate interest, and it definitely generated some interest.
Man, there were some people that were utterly upset about that whole deal.
I legit had someone I'll show you that you don't know text me and say, man, tell Jeffries to take his meds and put him to bed.
Yeah.
I had other people
What, is that too much thinking?
No, I had other people who texted and said, this is brilliant. I would, so anyway. Let me, what day was that? That was October 30th. Let's see some of the, let me pause it real quick here. Let's see some of the comments, and this is on the YouTube. You got some good stuff.
Scott Strong, whoever that is.
Gene Lemon said, I'll take some of what he's smoking.
Yeah.
You got an A for effort. Okay, now you're sounding like a crazy man. Don't think your pipe dream will fly. He said, I just unsubscribed. You guys are fools.
Wow.
Come on, dude, out there. Thank God you are not running anything. It would be bankrupt in a week. That was all the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to follow Bass, and you clowns can go fly a kite. It's not going to work. Keep hoping. Well, there's nothing that we're actually doing. It was just your hypothetical to kind of bring it more into the professional
to throw
realm.
Something out there. Nobody has really came up with any ideas.
You got a lot of props for the concept, too. I also remember your golden ticket concept a couple years ago to try to generate money for the Elite Series by having a raffle where the winner of the raffle got to fish in the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah. Generate, I forget how much money. It was an enormous amount of revenue.
But I do remember when they did the wild card there, they actually gave, and I think Chad Morgenthaler got it, a golden ticket out.
Yeah.
I think that might have been a direct result of the discussion that was generated from that.
Yeah, not the first time, but that's all right. So, hey, everybody's got an opinion. That is the beauty of this show. That is the beauty of what we do. People can express themselves about the craziness that we put forth. All right, something went down in between our last show, Matthew. Major League Fishing with a big announcement. What do you think about the no entry fee situation?
Yeah, that was crazy. They're obviously fishing or filming an MLF event right now. I'm not exactly sure where they are actually filming that, but everyone's together there. They're filming a cup, I believe.
Yes.
That will air in 2019. And I guess the whole thing is angler driven. They can change the rules whenever they want based on, I don't know, 70, 80% what it is.
Yeah.
But they opted to eliminate the $48,000 in entry fees that the ADMLF anglers were scheduled and agreed to pay when they signed their contract.
Do you have your phone handy? I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Take the number 80.
$3.9 million.
$3.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
So where is the $3.9 million going to come from?
Well, they're going to fish for a reduced purse now, but based on the anglers that I've talked to, and I talked to a couple different guys that are on that MLF advisory board. I'm not exactly sure what the actual name of it is.
Yeah.
They didn't have the actual payout now. You know, one of the guys in the article that I wrote that's over on Bassstone said it's roughly going to be similar to what they were fishing for on the Elite Series.
Okay.
With the entry fees, but now there's no entry fees.
Okay.
So,
well, good for them. If that's the case, then once again, progress toward
$3.84 million.
So roughly
$4 million bucks.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I guess it was passed overwhelmingly. So
that's almost, when you take the cup events, since there's 4 cup events, if you pull out almost $1 million out of each cup event.
Now, I don't know if they're going to supplement that with something, or is that just $4 million coming out of the payout? Is there another way that they're putting another $4 million in?
Sponsors could pony up the money.
Absolutely. I talked to a number of different guys in that article, and I called guys, and I talked to a Justin Lucas. I don't know his financial situation, but I'm guessing the way he's caught him in the Elite Series he's won and the stuff on his jersey, his boat, and his truck.
He's a 10%er.
He's not worried about entry
he's a
fees
10%er.
every year. And he talked about the importance. And then I called a guy like Cliff Crochet. Struggling. He said it. He said, he's got a starter home, a wife, 2 young kids, and it's touch and go. That was a quote he used every year. And I've sat down and I've looked across from Cliff when he's had good years and made over $100,000 with his sponsors, and other years where he's like, dude, you don't know what it's like when you need that $10,000 check.
Yeah.
When you absolutely need it. He goes, there is a difference. And he brought up an interesting point that I didn't think of, was how much stress the majority of these guys are under. A lot of it is because of the entry fees that they have to pay. You're dealing with a lot more live coverage. Imagine how much more loose, how much more fun it's going to be when they don't have that hanging over their head. He said you're going to see new personalities emerge with the elimination. And he goes, you know how funny I was? Now, I had a 50,000-pound weight on my back, and look how funny I was. Now imagine how funny I'll be when I'm fishing carefree.
Vintage right there. Vintage quote. All right. The other thing I want to mention, and then we'll get into a couple of other things here real quick, but the Bass Council received a couple of emails from people.
And what is the Bass Council?
I guess, you remember, when was it? A couple of months ago or 2 or 3 months ago, they asked for people to be part of the Bass Council.
This is with BASS.
Yeah, they gave them just kind of their input on things that they may be thinking of developing or putting into place. And they sent a poll out to the Bass Council asking who would they like to see in the Elite Series. And they were all vintage guys.
I don't know if it's public. I got it sent to me. I think Jimmy Houston was on there.
Yeah.
Was Roland on there?
I think so.
Charlie Hartley was on there.
He was on there.
I'm trying to think of a couple other names.
I don't know. I'll try to pull it up.
But there were 5 names, and they basically said, which 2 would you like to see competing on the Elite Series?
Which, you know what that tells me? That tells me, yes, they are at least considering bringing back some of the vintage guys.
How do you think Roland, I mean, I know he's been very active. He's fished the Bassmaster Opens. How do you think Roland would do in an 8-tournament Elite Series schedule right now?
I don't know.
I mean, Jimmy's never quit quit fishing and rolling, and you watch him on Scott Martin's channel, is still in good health and fishing. But
I don't know.
I mean, it's a difference between
Be fun to watch.
fishing an open or two and fishing an entire series.
Be fun to watch. I know Charlie'd do it.
I'd be interested
in a heartbeat.
to see.
I don't know. Be fun to watch, though.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, hey, at least they're reaching out. You know, we had that discussion about whether or not some of the guys were even going to get the invite. We kind of bounced that off the wall. Or some of the former Elite Series
And we'll talk
pros.
to Matt Reed about that in the second half of the show after we have Scott Rook on.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to get used to this new instant feedback.
Is it working?
I think it's working, but there's a couple of quirky things about it. I don't know. You guys tell me if it's doing okay, because all I see is just the master file.
So we touched on this. I don't know. Did you have anything else on the list? I want to get to
go
this
ahead.
beforehand.
Go ahead.
We touched on this on Tuesday, but just with the magnitude of your manifesto, Mark, we weren't really able to dive into it, especially with Hallman in. But Major League Fishing 2 days ago, which would have been on Monday, came out with the kind of the format. Not the schedule, but the format of how it's going to work out. This 3-page document that I'm shaking in front of the microphone right now that talks about the Red Crest Bass Pro Tour Championship. Oh, side note real quick. Gary Klein in the live called it the Pro Bass Tour a ton. So now I don't feel bad that it is the Bass Pro Tour, but on MLF Wearing It, he called it the Pro Bass Tour.
Yeah.
So now it's not just me who has a difficult time saying it. Anyway, so the Bass Pro Tour, the 8 qualifying events, the 4 cup events, and then the General Tire World Championship. But the one thing that I noticed, and you noticed it too, Mark, what was it?
Well, I noticed a lot of things.
About the 4 cup events in the World Championship.
Well, you're not going to find out who the champion is until 2020.
Did you know they were going to do it that way?
No.
They're filming them dark.
Yeah, I had no idea.
You're going to have all 8 tour events, right? And then after the tour events, you're going to have 4 cup events. The anglers who are in the top 30, I believe, after the first 2 tour events qualify for the first cup. The anglers then who were in the top 30 after 3 and 4, so they're keeping the points, but then they're also zeroing them each quarter.
Yeah.
So that means if you just totally sucked in the first 2 tournaments, it's not like you're screwed for the other 3 cups, and your points start over for that.
Right.
But they all accumulate for the Red Crest. So then the cup, and then so after the entire tour is over, they have the 4 cup events. But they're going to be filmed dark and not shown until 2020.
Well, there's a big reason for that.
As is the General Tire World Championship.
Yeah, big reason for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can
It's
go
television.
ahead. Right.
But it's just weird. I don't know. We'll talk to Boyd about that. We're going to have Boyd Duckett on Tuesday. No different than what's been done in previous years, but now you have 8 events of which the guys are vying for those 30 spots, correct?
Right.
For the cups. And then you're not going to know until 2020 what the end result was as far as who won the General Tire World Championship.
So if you're a fan of, if you're a big Kevin Van Dam fan, right?
Yeah.
You know he's going to be in the top 30 because there's going to be blowout coverage of the Bass Pro Tour events.
Yeah.
So you know that these cups are going to be taking place. But if you follow him all year long, every cast, every live episode, aren't you going to want to know how he does in the cups? Aren't you going to want to know how he does in the World Championship and not have to wait 5 or 6 months?
I would think.
I mean, I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you.
I told
for
you
a
that
change.
it would be like Oklahoma Sooners, right? Follow every snap of the Oklahoma Sooners. Committee, they make it to the playoff. Then you don't know how they do in the playoff. They play the game in a stadium that's empty. No one can be in there. They film it, and then they don't show it for another 3 months, and then you have to tune in to FS1 in May to figure out if they made the national championship. And then if they make the national championship, then you have to wait another month.
All right, hang on. That's a great comparison. And would it be possible for everyone that was involved in that event to keep quiet and word not get out on what the end result was?
I don't know.
Very difficult.
They did a great job of keeping it a secret for the past 6-7 years on MLF, but there hasn't been this many guys involved. There hasn't been this much attention focused on it. There hasn't been this many dollars. There hasn't been this level of importance on it, because you're talking about the General Tire World Championship and the Red Crest. The way MLF is talking, those are the two biggest tournaments in the world now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Be interesting to see if with all the changes that have taken place and all the emphasis placed on those 80 guys, whether or not they can keep that a secret.
I talked to an angler who won a tournament this year and is fishing Major League Fishing next year. And I said, dude, what would it have been like if you had won that tournament, but you couldn't tell your friends, you couldn't tell your sponsors, you couldn't put anything out on social media? I said, how tough would that be? And he goes, I never thought about you. That would be really tough.
Yeah,
because you're excited, you want to show it all off. And the other thing, and we'll get off of this, I'll get off my soapbox here, and we'll go to Scott Rook, is these events. I guess the Cup events, the 4 Cup events that the guys qualify to, are mainly going to be filmed in the summer and fall after the tour is over.
Yeah.
Let's say you're catching them on a new topwater that just came out. Well, if that show doesn't air till January, are guys going to be rushing out to buy that topwater that they won't be able to use for another 5 months?
That's a good point.
When James Watson won that Open in the fall of 2015 on the River to Sea Whopper Plopper, what was going on? Tons of team events, tons of championship events, tons of individual events, and they said, you know what? We need these things right now. And you couldn't get them, and they went through the roof, and it caused a freaking firestorm.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to go, I wish I'd known about that 4 months ago, but you're probably not going to get on Tackle Warehouse or go to BassProShops.com or go into your local tackle retailer and get a dozen of them, because, if you go out, you're ice fishing right now in half of the country.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Great point. Hey, real quick, and then we'll take a break and come back with Scott Rook. I was thinking about this yesterday on the ride home from practice. If you had an all-star game, say the NHL all-star game, and you had a dude that was just absolutely lighting it up, all right, was voted in. Everybody thought that he was going to be part of the All-Star because the All-Star game takes place halfway through the season.
Right.
All right, this is probably a bad example because in the NHL All-Star game, they don't wear their team uniforms. They wear either the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference.
Or the World or USA.
Whatever they're doing. Yeah. All right, but they used to, a long time ago, they would wear their jersey from the team that they
still do that in baseball.
All right, they still do that in baseball. All right, what if you were it was anticipated that you were going to be an all-star just because of the lights out season that you were having, but before the all-star game you get traded. You get traded to the San Diego Padres and you were with the LA Dodgers. All right? Do you go to that all-star game wearing your LA Dodgers uniform, or do you go to the All-Star game with your San Diego Padres jersey?
I think you got to go to the All-Star game with whatever team you're currently on.
Exactly. So is it still not weird to see those guys that they have been picked up off of waivers or whatever you want to call it by MLF, still donning their Los Angeles Dodgers jersey?
I saw that, and it was at the Toyota event down there at Table Rock that they just had. They had a bunch of pros there, and you see the guys who are on MLF, bam, boom, big bass patch right there on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they have to wear the bass patch at the Bassmaster Classic because that is in the rules as, where it has to be, what has to be shown. So they can't get around that. But, I mean, I don't know if there's any – I think there might be a language that they can't wear a competing – tour up on stage, but it would be interesting to see if anyone wears an MLF jersey with a bass patch pinned on it.
How weird is that going to be at the Classic?
It's just going to get weirder and weirder the closer it gets to it.
Yeah. So am I not right on that one? Is that a fair comparison?
No, that's a very fair comparison.
I wish I really knew, and I think a lot of people wish they knew why Greg Hackney didn't show up to the match play.
We'll try calling him.
And if he just flat out said, I am very thankful for everything that has taken place in my career on the bass side, but you know what? This is the team I'm with now.
Maybe he had something that he couldn't get out of.
Exactly.
But here's the other thing. And when did I call you all fired up over this?
A couple days ago, I think.
I do believe if you look at the Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year standings, they were originally going to have, was it the first 16 out?
Think so.
And Hackney didn't show, but they didn't go down to the next, which they didn't have to offer him. But had they tried to fill the field out for the 16 to then get to the 12, who was the next in line if Hackney had opted out? And
it was Boyd Duckett.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is very, very, very interesting. All right, taking a break, coming back with Scott Rook. Everybody stay tuned on a Thursday.
Sleek new design with easy control file. The clearest images underwater with uncompromising range. Live mapping from the touchscreen. View notifications, video, even Google Maps on screen. And for the first time ever, real-time view of fish movements with live sight sonar. HDS Live. New from Lowrance.
Jacob Wheeler and Tommy Biffle have a lot in common.
Flat bill.
The perfect shape.
You gotta love some light tackle.
I know I have a spinning rod.
I love my hammer crawl.
Biffle bug.
Rig.
On a hardhead.
Well, they could be twins. Bifflebug, Hammer Crawl, Hardhead, from Gene LaRue.
Let me help you, man.
Let me help that hat.
Whoa.
There you go. I already looked better.
Pros depend on hydraulic jack plates to get the best out of their boats. Do what they do. Demand Atlas performance. Atlas gets you from the bottom to the top in less than 8 seconds, even with the big 4 strokes. And when you gotta turn right around and get that heavy load back up in rough water, Atlas's innovative design and American-made components will get you there with confidence.
I'm at Depot. Just look for yourself. There's an Atlas jack plate on just about every professional's boat.
The Atlas hydraulic jack plate. You can depend on it.
My rods look different because they are different. Every rod is built by the pros and for the pros. When you pick up a White Duckett fishing rod, you're getting a cutting-edge rod, one that's truly pro-driven with the actions you need for every bait category you fish. I put my name on it. It's my promise to build you a great rod you can count on.
Duckett Fishing, Micro Magic, Macro Magic, or White Ice.
Try them. They work.
Man, I am so excited to be joining the AFCO Pro staff. They got some really cool, innovative products to help you have a more enjoyable, comfortable day while you're out there on the water. Really stylish, great functional clothing. You're gonna love it. The thing I'm most excited about though is AFCO has pledged to donate 10% of their total profits back to supporting the conservation of our fisheries. And I am all about supporting a company that's about supporting conservation so that we can enjoy our bass fishing for a long time. Check us out, AFCO.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word: confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
S61 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line.
Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges.
We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.
All right, we are back on a Thursday. Mark and Matt in studio. The first day of November, dude.
It's hard to believe it's already November.
It's a little chilly outside. Leaves
Not bad,
everywhere.
It needs to get colder.
Yeah.
I want it to get colder so they go to the banks and they're easier to catch.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about today? It was 5 years ago that we were doing fish and chips on this day.
Really?
5 years. Yeah, one of them. What do we do?
We really need to bring that back. I still get asked about that all the time.
Yeah, me too.
I don't understand why you can't carve out a couple hundred hours of your easygoing retired life to put fish and chips on again.
Yeah, maybe 2019. And now with these guys' schedule, I mean, good grief.
Who knows?
It'd be hard. It'd be hard because you have all the stuff going on both sides now. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Not too many gaps in the schedule, man.
No, you only got to get 25 guys in it, 25 teams to make it what it was. But that was cool.
Yeah. All right. We're going to bring in our first guest now, a guy who is officially retiring. Been in the game for a number of years, has a blue trophy, and has made the decision that he is going to move onward to retirement. And,
very narrowly made the Classic.
Yes.
Just missed it. And almost did it your favorite way in the bracket.
Yeah.
Topwater.
Yeah.
Heck of a comeback.
Yeah, it really was. Let's bring him in. Scott, you there, man?
I'm here.
All right, man. Thanks for taking time out. And now you have nothing to do right now, don't you?
No, actually, I do. I've taken a job.
Really? What are you doing?
I am running Southern Reel Outfitters in Little Rock. It's an outdoor store and fishing tackle store. I've been there kind of part-time this year, kind of learning the ropes of the retail business again, and I've taken over there now. So that's my new gig.
All right.
After fishing.
That's awesome. We will get into that. But I want to kind of go back to you were one of the original guys on the Elite Series, and as you see everything evolve over the past 12 years, and you've now made the decision to retire, is this a good time to be involved in bass fishing, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. You know, and really, I had made the decision to retire before all the Major League Fishing rumors started. I mean, that all started somewhere around ICAST is where the rumors really started flying around that Major League Fishing was going to come out with a full-blown tour. And I kind of had already made my decision. I mean, I've been doing it for 21 years, you know, full-time, fishing the Bassmaster circuit. And I just kind of get burned out. I still love the fishing. It's still fun. My hands still shake when I catch the big ones. But all that traveling and everything is just kind of getting old. You know, I'm 57 years old. I don't want to be out there, you know, 69, 70 years old trying to catch a bass. I mean, you look at a lot of the guys, the veterans on the tour, let's just say last year's points on the Elite Series. And not knocking in, these guys are all great fishermen, but they're like me. They're kind of burned out, and they're all at the bottom of the points in the 90s to the hundreds. All the veterans, you know, you kind of lose some of that fire after doing it so long. You get other things in your life that you like to do. So, you know, that's kind of where I was. I was just kind of burned out, and I thought, you know, it'd be a good time to bow out. It was, and I told my wife, when it's not fun anymore, I'm probably going to do something else. So it got to the point where it wasn't fun for me. Everything but the fishing. The fishing is still fun. When the clock started on tournament day, loved it, dude. It was still lots of fun. But all that traveling, and they announced that schedule going west. Of course, they canceled that. But going to Washington State and Sacramento, that's not fun. That driving 3-4 days, you know, nonstop is really not fun. Besides being very expensive.
You had to.
So that was kind of made up my mind on my decisions, you know.
You had to have a little bit of fun in that bracket challenge, though. Outside of the first half there, where it didn't go so well, but man, if that was your last cast with bass, that was a heck of a way to go out.
Yeah, and it was still fun, you know. I started my fishing, tournament fishing around Central Arkansas, fishing nightly tournaments, and they were 3-hour events. So that little 3-hour deal was just right up my alley. I loved it. But to finish where I did in that bracket challenge to make the finals, dude, I was on nothing. I mean, from the get-go, I was on absolutely nothing. If there is spotted bass and blueback herring in a lake, I struggle. Lake Murray, all those lakes out there in the Carolinas, I've always struggled. So to do as well as I did, you know, I really can't complain because I was on nothing. I mean, I just went fishing, did something different every day as far as where I fished. The only bites that I really got that were really promising were on the Whopper Plopper the first afternoon, And I tried to just make that work, and it did work one day. It just let me down on that last day. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I really wanted to make the Classic. As you could tell, I was fishing pretty dang hard in that deal.
Yeah, it would have been your 10th Classic, I believe, wouldn't it?
That's correct, yeah. And that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to make the Classic. I didn't make this announcement that I was retiring. I wanted to do that at the Classic, and that'd be my last tournament, win or lose, And I had a lot of questions. Well, if you make the Classic and you go there and win, and you're still going to quit, I said, well, I got to make the Classic first. I've always believed in taking it one step at a time. So, but Hank Parker did that. He went to the Classic, won, and retired. So, I don't know. It was fun. I wouldn't trade that 21 years for anything, but I just think I need a little break. And I'm not saying I won't ever fish tournaments again, but I do need a little break.
Scott, you mentioned once the tournament got underway and you were on the water, that's when it was fun. I want to go back because you were one of the few guys on the Elite Series that actually had a large corporate sponsor. You had Altel, and then with the merger of Verizon Wireless, how challenging was it to have that corporate sponsor? Was that fun, or was that really challenging?
Oh, yeah.
With everything taking place off the water?
That's something. Really, that's something you've got to have a big sponsor like that. These guys see a lot of. I've seen it through the years. A lot of young kids come in that were perfectly capable of competing on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Good fishermen, smart fishermen, and they didn't have the financial backing, and it killed them. They felt that pressure. I need to cash this check. If I don't cash the check in this next tournament, I don't have the money for the deposit. You can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. You have to have good backing, good sponsors. You've got to have enough money from sponsorships coming in to pay your entry fee, all your expenses, and at least somewhat of a yearly salary before you leave the house. And all that tournament winnings is just icing on the cake. So you've got to have it. That was Altel was a great sponsor. I've got Riceland Foods out of Stuttgart, Arkansas, probably one of the best sponsors I've ever had. Great company to work with, easy company, got great products. So you've got to have that. You absolutely do. As well as your endemic sponsors. I've got Ranger Boats and Mercury I've been with them for 20 something years. Great. Never let me down on the water, ever. Never missed the weigh-in because of any kind of failure with my boat motor, ever. And you've got to have that. Are you really defeating the purpose of going out there?
You really need someone to go back through all your stats, Scott, and make sure there wasn't like a big fish or a big string award or some. You need $499 to hit the $1.5 million in earnings. You have $1,499,509.33. There's got to be an extra 500 somewhere to hit that 1.5 mark before you hang it up.
I could probably give you a list of fish that I lost that cost me another $1 million, including the Classic, several other tournaments. I mean, I haven't won a lot of tournaments, but I've been on the fish and had the bites to probably win somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 or 8, 9 tournaments, But you've got to get fortunate and land those, and I didn't. And it was just kind of something that plagued me through my career. I'd get the bites and be there, have that bite to win the tournament and lose it or something happened. It's kind of frustrating. But yeah, that 1.5 was real close, and that's kind of cool.
That is cool. Scott, now obviously with the formation of Major League Fishing and everything else that's going on, do you think the time has finally come to where a senior tour would make a lot of sense? Not 8 events, but maybe 2 to 4 events throughout the year that really would showcase the guys that exceed the age of 55 or 50 or whatever the threshold would be?
Yeah, I've always said I thought that would be really cool, and that would be something, that I think all of the veterans, even the ones that have already retired, will probably consider something like that. That's kind of neat. Make it fun, I mean, the way it was, it's got to the point now that the young kids that come out here, they don't go home. I don't want to live a gypsy lifestyle of going from lake to lake to lake to lake, and that's what these kids are doing. I read recently where Brandon Polinick said he was going home for the first time in 9 months. Is he have a home or is he going to his parents? And that's what we're dealing with. he lives in a fifth wheel, and he goes from lake to lake to lake. And that's kind of the trend now with the younger anglers. That's what they do. And you really, to compete, that's what you've got to do. And at this point, you know, at 57 years old, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be living in a camper and going from, I enjoy camping, I love camping, but I don't want to live in a camper.
Not closing the camping sponsorship for the future. No. Keeping that door open in case there's a comeback.
Yeah. But anyway, it's you know, I enjoy being home with my family. There's a lot of things. I've got to turkey hunt like one time in the last 15, 20 years because I'm always gone. I've missed, you know, it's just a lot of things I'd like to do. I don't want to, like I said, be out there and be in my late 60s still chasing a bass around, trying to, you know, struggling, requalify and all that. So I just thought it was time for me to step down and maybe start a new chapter. And the retail business for me is something I did for 15 years before I started fishing. So it's something I really enjoy. I know a lot about it. I'm going to be able to really stock the store with a lot of so-called secrets that a lot of people don't know about, you know? Yeah. I mean, all of the best tackle, all of the newest and latest and greatest stuff that's on the market. I'm gonna really work hard at that. We're working on a website right now. We're going to launch that here pretty quick, but it's fun. I enjoy it. So, I mean, you got to enjoy what you're doing, and I do enjoy working at the store, and that's what I'm going to do for a while.
All right. On the instant feedback, David in Wisconsin wants to know, would you consider fishing the Opens since now it's, once again, winning you're in when it comes to the Classic?
You know, and I thought about that. I'm not saying I'll never fish a tournament. I'm going to take a break. I don't plan on fishing any local events or anything like that. I just want to work, spend time with my family, hunt a little bit, you know, enjoy some things that I've missed over the last 20 years. But, yeah, I might come back and fish some Opens or something, you know. You know, if the schedule lined up and it was some really good lakes that I enjoy fishing, yeah, I might too. I might want to do that. But, again, I want to get away from the high-pressure stress of the Elite Series and professional fishing. You know, I've done it long enough, I think.
All right. Is it going to be cool to be on the other side of the negotiating table at ICAST now from a retail perspective?
You know, I actually thought about that. You know, that'd be kind of weird. They actually asked me, did I want to go this year? And I was like, well, if I go this year, I'm going to end up in somebody's booth working for them. So I don't know. It'll be cool, and I really enjoy all that. You know, keeping up with all the new tackle and everything, because there's just tons and tons of stuff that's brand new. They're great baits that a lot of people don't have any idea about. You know, so I want to share my fishing knowledge with my customers, with the public. You know, no more secrets. I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to share everything. So, but it's fun. You know, a guy comes in the store and he tells me, man, I'm losing every fish on this so-and-so bait, and I can give him tips to help him, and he comes back and tells me, I've not lost a fish. That's what you told me. It worked. It's perfect, you know. So that's enjoyable for me. I really like that, being able to help someone else catch fish and do better in tournaments or whatever.
All right, very cool. Now, once again, I want to let everybody know, what is the name of the retail store that you're going to be working at? And if they want to find information about it, how can they do that?
SouthernReelOutfitters.com, and reel is REEL, SouthernReelOutfitters.com. And we're launching a website here pretty quick. I'm going to try to get pretty aggressive with that as well. So you got tackle, especially hard to find stuff, special colors and that kind of stuff. I'm really going to specialize in that. So check us out, SouthernReelOutfitters.com.
All right,
we've got a brand new website to be out within the next few weeks.
All right, what town is it located in?
We're in Little Rock.
Okay.
We're in the western part of Little Rock in Arkansas.
All right.
You going to have the major trophy in there?
Yeah, I could do that.
I'm just saying, that might drive some traffic.
Yeah.
There are not very many of those in existence.
No,
8
there
of them?
isn't.
And Peter T has half of them.
I've actually got something that's even rarer, a heavyweight belt. I've got made the century mark in the Falcon tournament. That's something even Kevin Van Dam doesn't have. I thought that was pretty cool. I said, Kevin, you got a heavyweight belt? And he said, actually, I don't. I said, I actually got something you don't. The one trophy he doesn't have.
So you're going to be wearing that every day at Southern Reel then, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, can I help you with the crankbaits?
That's pretty funny. All right, Scott, man, wish you the best of luck with your new adventure and retirement. And thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully we'll see you soon, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
All right, there you have it, Scott Rook. Seems very happy.
Very happy. And he did an incredible segue by mentioning the Century Belt at Falcon Lake.
Yeah.
We're going to Matt Reed, who pretty much catches, apparently, a Century Belt on Falcon Lake every day.
All right, keep going with that. I'm going to try and get him on.
Oh, you're just going to call him straight without us taking a break. No,
Yeah.
I mean, you follow. I've become pretty good friends with Matt over the years. We both do the Kurt Dove Pro Bass Camp down on Lake Amistad every summer. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you have a high school age kid, like 17 to 18, get on Kurt Dove's FLW Tour Pros page and look this up, because it is a badass high-end 5-day camp with last year, Matt Reed, James Niggemeyer, Denny Brower, Pete Pons, all sorts of guys do it.
Yeah, Matt, you there, man?
I am.
How are you, man? It's been a while since we've spoken to each other.
By the way, we lied to you. You are live right now.
Yeah, you are live.
There is no commercial break.
That works. I'm doing good.
So where are you right now, man?
I am actually in Madisonville, Texas right now.
But
which I'm not at home very often.
Just got back from catching giant redfish, right?
I did. That's a blast. It's one of those trips I look forward to every fall.
All right. Well, Matt sent me some photos of some recent adventures that you've had, and we've actually got those up on the stream right now. And things have been pretty good for you, haven't they, Matthew?
Fishing's been good, Mark. Lake Falcon is a wonderful place. It shines a lot. I mean, there's never a bad time to be down there. It's a lot of fun. I get questions all the time about when can I catch one of those fish in the pictures, and my answer always is, when can you get here?
It's pretty insane. Obviously, that place was put I guess nationally on the map with the Elite Series there with Paul Elias and what everybody did there in that tournament. But, is it still getting slammed? I know, for lack of a better term, it sucked for a couple years, and now it's like, from what I've heard, almost just as good as it was back in 2008.
It's, from 2008 to 2012, it got better every year. And then we had a real low water situation. And, when you lose all your habitat, your nature's going to adjust. That the population adjusted in the middle of 2012, and it's been on the rebound ever since. It's really good now. Not quite as good as it was back then, but there's still nowhere better. So, and one of the neatest things about down there is there are no boats. It's pressure is basically none. So I love that. There'll be days, average day I'll see 4 or 5 boats. There's never a time I don't have somewhere to fish. So that's really one of the cool things about down there, because you don't accidentally go to Falcon. You're going to make a trip to get down there. You're not on the way to anywhere and drive by. So, but that's one thing that makes it really good now is it's lack of pressure. Lakes come up 14 feet in the last month and a half. Got a lot of good habitat again. So things are looking up for another great spawn.
Matt,
so it just keeps getting better.
I know some people might be concerned about what has been mentioned and said about from a safety standpoint with the border being right there. What's the status from a safety perspective of people coming down there and fishing?
Mark, across in Mexico on the other side, there are issues from time to time. I've never had an issue on the lake. And man, I've spent thousands of days on that lake. This is just kind of my pat response to that. I promise I don't want to die over a fish any worse than you do. So I'm not going to do anything that feels anywhere in the gray area. You can stay in Texas if you want to stay in Texas and never cross over to the Mexican side. I fish the Mexican side quite a bit. It's just one of those things. You just don't do anything stupid. So that's kind of my best answer.
So what you're saying is, if you have a couple newbies in the boat, you're not going to run them to go flip the church steps.
No, I've never seen the church steps, man. I mean, that's just one of the things. There's very little has ever happened at Falcon.
I've been there. Have you ever felt unsafe on Falcon?
No,
I never have either. Except when the U.S. gunner boats are out there. Those are impressive.
No, not at all. All right.
Those are a little intimidating when they show up.
Yes, they are. Matt, is now a really good time to come down there in the fall and the winter time?
Great time. Your weather's usually really nice. You don't ever have a guarantee on the weather. That's one of the things definitely we can't control. But you don't have the heat, and you normally don't have the cold. So it's a wonderful time to be down. Fishing is normally good. There's like I said before, there's just not a bad month to be down. So really nice when the weather cooperates. It's nice and cool, and it normally doesn't get all that cold, but it can. And in the fall, though, it's usually just wonderful. The weather is, you don't break a sweat, and you don't get cold.
What's a good day right now on Falcon?
Good day right now, but with the high water or the water coming back up, my numbers are down a little bit. I mean, and I say that kind of with a wink in one eye. A nice day, average day is in the 30 to 50 fish range. We will, not uncommon at all for your best 5 to weigh 30 to 35 pounds. 10-pounders happen. We'll catch a 10 every few days right now. I mean, it's been about 10 days since I was there. That last week I was there, the weather was horrible, and we crushed them every day. So that's so fun. The numbers times are coming. If they group back up on the rocks, that's when your average day is 50 to 80 fish a day instead of 30 to 50. So, I mean, compared to other places, the numbers are always good. Size is good. There's just nothing else that's like it to go catch a largemouth.
Yeah. All right. Now, I have to ask, with you being a former Elite Series guy, an FLW Tour guy, what are your thoughts about everything that have taken place in the professional fishing game with the formation of the tour by Major League Fishing, and just what's your gut reaction to it?
Mark, it's kind of, I've never seen an upheaval like we've seen in the last, several months. Obviously something was broken. If there's that much of a reaction to change, something caused that. So my reaction is wait 2 years and see how it all shakes out. There's been so much upheaval. There's been friendships lost during this time. There's been so many changes. There's been, people mad, people happy. Good gracious, it's you never know what you're going to find out the next day. So, being around it as long as I have, you just kind of sit back and take what comes and just see how it's going to shake out. I'm fishing FLW and happy to be there. It's a very comfortable place. I love the people. It's a very friendly organization to fish for. I fished at BASS for a long time, 14 years. Considered that my home during that time. That's where I cut my roots are on the tour. But you just have to take every day at a time and look at what's happening. The MLF format, some people are going to love that. Some people are not. It's not a, I watch the normal MLF shows now and I enjoy them. I consider it a made for TV specialty event when I'm watching the normal MLF because it's a whole different format. In our minds, tournament fishing is the biggest 5 you catch during the day. But the other format is exciting. So it's just going to be a few years, and it's going to settle out, and we'll see what the best move was and what's going to happen in the future. So, just kind of hold your horses and see how it comes out.
You got to be excited for the start of the tour season. I mean, it's kind of in your neck of the woods. Is that something you're kind of looking forward to in January there in East Texas?
Yeah, that's where I cut my teeth, man. I mean, Rayburn and Toledo, I spent 150 days a year for 15 years between Rayburn and Toledo before I started fishing the tour. So kind of looking forward to that one. Kind of an unusual time of year. Second week of January, fishing could be great, or the weather could be horrible. So it's going to be that's one we'll just have to see how it shakes out. But it's really nice to go somewhere where you don't have to worry about looking at a map or where to run, or you're totally comfortable being there.
All right, man. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, and for those people that are already experiencing snow up north, if they want to make a trip to Falcon Lake, how would they go about finding out information on how they can spend a day with you?
There's a couple of ways, and we might as well just go ahead and give them my phone number here. That's the easiest way to get hold of me. It's 936-348-0640. And that way I can answer any questions. Also, they can go to my website at mattreedbasspro.com, and there's a contact link there. That's the best way to get a hold of me. I've got a few November dates still available and just starting to book December. It usually fills up quickly, so that's the best way to get a hold of me and get out of that snow and cold and come be warm and get your line pulled on.
Very nice. All right, last question. Several people on the instant feedback want to know, did you get an invitation from Bass to fish the Elite Series?
I did not. That was one of the things, they have their own plan on how they wanted to invite people back. Sometimes that made you shake your head when you looked at the whole grand scheme of things, but I did not get an invitation. So, I'm happy with knowing that I've got a spot at FLW. So that's where I plan on being. But no, I did not get an invitation back to the Elites.
All right. Matthew, how's the golf game?
Golf game's all right. I actually don't get to play much. Played twice, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I did manage to get it home at like 77 one day and 75 the next. So the golf game's okay to not get to play very often.
All right. It used to crack me up when I used to see him and Edwin hit golf balls off the front deck of their boat.
We did that for a commercial for you one time.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. They could do a good job at it. No, he's a great golfer, and I'm sure if he played more, that score would definitely go the opposite direction than mine. So probably so. All right, Matt, man, greatly appreciate you taking time out, giving us an update on Falcon. If anybody out there is interested, he's your man. You'd have a great day with Matt out on Falcon Lake. And, man, I want to make my way down there.
It's been a while. The last time you fished it was with Harold.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Load it up and come on down.
It's been a while. All right, Matt, take care. Enjoy the holiday season, and we will talk to you soon, man.
All right, thanks, Mark.
All right, man.
Thank
take
you
care.
so much. Appreciate it.
See ya. There you have it. Matt Reed giving us
Makes
an update.
me very jealous.
About what?
That he can casually say a 10-pounder every couple days.
I was more impressed with, I just went out and shot 70, 75, 77.
He hit the golf ball off of the deck of the boat, him and Edwin. Have you ever had anyone hit golf balls at you while you're on the boat?
No.
Okay, at Keystone Lake last year, or 2 years ago, at the Bass Nation qualifier, I'm in the tournament. And I go to this one section, I'm fishing a point. Well, probably about 350 yards away on the other side is a campground, and it's on a bluff. And it's probably noonish, 1 o'clock on a Sunday, and there's some dudes that are sauced. You can hear them. And they're hitting golf balls with their driver out into the middle of the lake. off of their campsite.
They just happen to have their club. Oh, off the campsite.
Yeah, they were up there at the
Right.
camping right there.
I got you.
And I have to be careful because they use very colorful language, but it was real quiet, real still that day. And I hear one of them say, and I'm fishing this opposite bank. I mean, they're a ways off, and I hear one of them say, "Watch me knock this Bill Dance wannabe right off the front deck." And I look at my co-angler and I go, "I think they're fixing to hit at us." And I said, "You heard that, right?" And he said, "Yeah, I heard it." I said, "I kind of hope he hits me now."
Oh, jeez.
And they got within about 30 yards. I mean, enough to where you could hear the kaboosh of the ball, but no closer to that. And I didn't really stick around to see how good he was with the driver.
They were hammered?
You got to be hammered to be hitting like that. I mean, they were up there drinking, having a good time, I'm sure.
All right, great show. I want to thank Scott Rook and Matt Reed for being on today. Tuesday, big show. Boyd Duckett going to be on live via Skype. Going to give us an update on some of the things that are going down with Major League Fishing. All right, big weekend, Matthew.
Yeah, Bass Nation on you fall.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if
Gotta
that's
catch
big.
'em.
That's a
It
big
is for
weekend.
you. It is for you.
It's a good weekend.
All right.
What are you doing?
I have no idea.
You don't have games?
No, our first scrimmage is Tuesday of next week. First scrimmage. Season starts on December 1. So it's coming up, man. This year is flying by. I had no idea. November 1st already.
The year in review shows will be quite entertaining and packed with information.
Hey, real quick, thank you to everybody on the instant feedback. My trial version is already out of whatever minutes, posts, whatever they exist. So
this stuff is horrible.
I will get that set up for Tuesday.
Dasani sparkling raspberry lemonade.
It's all right, man. It's just
like you're supposed to mix that with vodka. I don't think that's meant to be drunk straight.
I don't know. Everybody be safe. We will talk to you on Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Boyd Duckett live via Skype. Everybody stay tuned.